Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And Crim's rampage of the last couple of days has certainly been continuing the last 24 hours or so, calling out the Call of Duty League from a number of different angles, but also saying that if the league continues as it is right now, especially when some of the bigger names retire, we are in a very difficult spot within a few short months. Very intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this from Envoy, thought this was kind of mind-blowing to be honest. Mind-blowing that Drazah wears his headwear backwards, just like headset backwards, just like me. Never thought I would find another one. Apparently there's a few people that do this. I'd heard Drazah doing this, I think a couple of months ago he'd mentioned it, but if you guys aren't familiar with this situation, Envoy for whatever reason wears his headset backwards. He puts the headset on back to front, his left, like the left ear cup is over his right ear, the right ear cup is over his left ear. So in real life, his ears operate normally, and he hears left from the left, right from the right. He puts his headset on back to front, and he still hears left from left, right from right, but his brain, I guess, is just like when he has the headset on, his brain goes into some mode where it will just like convert the sound and it will come out the other ear. I don't get it, but it is what it is. I thought this would be like a 1 in a million, right? Like no way anyone, I guess when he was younger, he accidentally put his headset on back to front and then just got used to playing it like that, which I guess is kind of strange, but could be possible. Like surely you know when your headset's on back to front because the microphone thing will be going out the back of your head. But whatever. I thought, okay, maybe Envoy's just like the only person ever, but Drazah, his teammate for this season, also is just like this, which is just mind-blowing to me. Some interesting replies right here. Do you really think it would be that difficult to start wearing it the right way again? And as Envoy says, yes, it'd be incredibly difficult. Could you play with yours backwards until it sounded normal and never IRL because I don't hear right and think left. I just hear right and left like you would. But for some reason, when the headset's on, things go back to front. It is kind of strange. This is also from Destroy, right? Because Destroy was a big player in the S&D scene before. Recently, he's gone over to Warzone and done great things over there. Another player that's pretty well known within the scene also has it on backwards. And then, of course, his own teammate Drazah. If any of you guys do this, let me know down below. Like, how rare actually is this that people have their headsets on backwards and somehow it works? I don't know how it works, but maybe this is the key to becoming a pro player. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure I'm going to give it a go, though. I think it would take quite a while to get used to it. This is Modern Warzone, very interesting yesterday. 2 tweets on the matter. The first one was this. The CDL was planning to expand into Warzone, but ended up scrapping the idea for now and doing the World Series of Warzone instead. So Crone hasn't tweeted anything about this, so whether this is actually fully the case, whether this is, whether Crone's like not necessarily talking about it yet, or because it didn't happen and didn't really talk about it, or what the case might be. But apparently, CDL was considering going into Warzone, because of course, like, Warzone's been massive lately, even though, like, recently, I don't know, I'm not sure it's had quite the same appeal. They've gone down the World Series of Warzone route, which definitely makes a lot of sense, right? What were they even thinking with the CDL? Like, what was the plan here if they did want to go into Warzone? But also, this is Modern Warzone to follow up. The CDL also expand to 16 teams, but ended up scrapping the idea after the lawsuit controversy and full sending at Warzone, apparently. So, very interesting to hear. So, it seems like they were going to go to 16, but the whole lawsuit that came up with Activision Blizzard and the California state government over the, workplace harassment type stuff, that, didn't really work out as they wanted it to. We're going to go to 16 at some point, I'm sure. At least it's good that they're considering it, but I do wonder if this is the full reasoning behind it, or if the pandemic has something to do with it, or what their situation might be. It's, I'm sure there's maybe other reasons involved in this decision, but still, CDL going into Warzone, or at least planning to expand. I'm glad they didn't go down that route, let's be honest, but certainly it does tie in quite nicely what we're going to talk about with what Crimsix had to say here in just a couple of minutes' time. An interesting reply here from Edgar, though. So this is a so-called rich guy, cod burner type guy that is still chilling around the scene, it seems, for quite a while. But whoever gave you this, he says, is incorrect. Warzone was spitballed, but it was never anywhere close to getting into this CDL type situation. Lawsuit was August. Activision partly considered a move to 13, 14, or 1 or 2 preferred groups, but current owners were upset they couldn't offload their teams at a one-time inflated price. So that's what I was thinking as well. Like, lawsuit was in August, so I doubt they'd just scrap the whole 16 team thing if that was the case. Like, you'd have thought if they were going to go through with it by August time, they would have already have thought, okay, let's go down this route, or they'd have already decided what was happening. Like, it seems like the lawsuit being the one situation to kind of change those mindsets might have been, probably there was other things getting involved, I would say. And as Edgar goes on to say, like, teams should be against 16 team expansion due to the revenue pool dilution, right? So the money's going to be the same, but at 16 teams, therefore you get less money per team type thing. So I suppose there are a few reasons potentially why teams are against this, but definitely interested to hear if Crone has anything to say on this in the coming days, if anything does indeed continue to come out. This then is what Crimsix has to say on the flank last night. So pretty much what we were talking about the last day or so was like Crimsix saying, look, these organizations, they don't really care too much for their players. Half the league, or like a third of the league, doesn't pay their players all that much. They don't really do any content. They're not really trying to actually grow this league, because the problem is that from Crimsix's perspective that our league is run off the personalities, and all of a sudden if the pros aren't getting enough money or aren't getting paid properly, then if Warzone blows up next year, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if it's like reached its peak already, Warzone, or whether it can go again. Maybe it can, but I suppose like it's pretty much impossible to read the future. But still, if Warzone gets even bigger and the prize pools over there get even bigger, then why would the players, if they're not getting paid so much money, stick around the CDL when they can just go to Warzone and make a load of more money over there? We've even seen some pro players do it, right? They've gone to create content on the Warzone side. Tommy, Rated, two great examples, and making way more money than they would do playing Call of Duty professionally, especially if they're going to play for a lower tier team that's making only $50,000. So for a few reasons, Crim and Methods are not exactly convinced that the CDL's in the greatest spot right here. Crimsix especially kind of concerned for his own future if the CDL was to die out, and basically saying, look, if some of these top tier pros retire, especially the likes of Scump, the big personalities, the CDL might just straight up die.
Say next year you're offered a $50,000 contract.
No,
do you quit
I'm not doing it this year. I already said I won't play for the minimum this year.
Okay.
I already said it.
Exactly. So this is the spiral that I'm, bro.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we're on the same page.
This is the start of a downward spiral that is like, it's going to get out of control, bro. I'm not even kidding. If Warzone blows up next year, 50% of the players are gone. Like, they're all going to dip for Warzone. I'm like, no bullshit, dude. Yeah. And the fact that all of us as players agree on that, you know, everyone I've talked to agrees on that, bro. These and you know, the crazy is that I'm being told to like, you know, use per channels, keep it on wraps, and I'm sitting there
won't fix anything.
And I'm sitting there like, do you guys have any idea what is really going on?
I'm all for proper channels. Like, I agree. There are a certain way things should be gone about. At the same time, the truth of the matter is, public outrage has and always will force change quicker than proper channels does.
Yes.
Always. And that's, I wish it wasn't that way, but proper channels only get you so far.
Well, then in our case.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but my whole point is though, like, you know how people say like the moment Scump retires,
yeah,
COD is dead. Competitive COD is dead. I agree.
Wait, I mean, yeah, it's scary to think about it without him.
Dead.
It's gonna be tough.
Limping along for sure.
It's gonna be tough.
There's gonna be a lot of like, dude.
Because he's gonna go to Warzone. He's not gonna leave COD. He's gonna play Warzone.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy, right?
No, I don't necessarily think this is the case, what Crimsix is saying. I think that he definitely makes some fair points. I think the CDL, to be fair, is in a relatively decent spot. We're sitting in a position where the competition for next year is looking phenomenal. The teams are getting over, hopefully, this pandemic and the difficulties that they had. More content coming out from more organizations than we've seen before. Expansion hopefully coming next year. New teams buying in, the likes of Washington. I think, honestly, we're in for a very exciting year. But Crimsix does make very fair points. At the end of the day, if these players definitely don't have the incentive to keep playing professional Call of Duty and the multiplayer side, like, who knows what the CDL are thinking in terms of Warzone, if Warzone continues to be massive. Like, at the same time, though, the other point is that if there's a load of players interested in Warzone, we've talked about Tim the Tapman, like Dr. Disrespect, for example, wanting to get CDL teams, wanting to get Call of Duty teams in the league. What if they come through, they get their team, and then all of a sudden the Warzone fans start getting interested in Call of Duty competitive, right? There's actual CDL multiplayer type stuff that, I'm sure most of you guys are more interested in watching. So certainly there is arguments both ways. I thought another interesting thing Crim said, though, was the fact that nowadays, especially because of some of these low contracts and just the difficulty of staying in the league, a lot of these players don't stay around the league too long. That means they don't have a good chance to build up their personality for many a season, and therefore, like, when the big guys retire, there's no one really left to carry the torch at the end of the day. This, of course, is a problem that happens in all sports and all esports. It's not unique to Call of Duty or endemic to Call of Duty by any means, but it has been a discussion for a lot of time now, right? Like, if Scump retires, what happens to the CDL? And Crim is basically saying, yeah, maybe I agree that it's going to be in a very difficult spot if Scump does retire. I mean, I suppose when Scump does retire, he can't compete forever, I suppose. But yeah, definitely an interesting question. From my perspective, yes, Scump retiring is not going to be good for Call of Duty competitive. There's no doubt. At the same time, though, if Scump stays around OpTic, like, I would argue that the majority of OpTic fans will still keep watching OpTic, like, when it ends, right? Because, of course, right now the talk is that, yeah, no one gets any viewership apart from OpTic, which is, of course, true to some degree. When Scump retires, like, what happens to those views? Like, let's say you get 100,000 views for an OpTic match with Scump there, like a big one, for example, at a big event. like, you know, if Scump retires, like, what does that viewership become for an OpTic match? But, like, let's say OpTic still, you know, of course, you've got Dashy still over there, you've got, like, Illy, Shotzi, like, maybe you've got another player with a big brand over that team. How many OpTic fans are still going to be watching that team? I would hazard to guess it's going to be quite a lot, to be honest. So I'm not sure how much impact it will have, Scump retiring. Obviously, it's going to be a big one. It's not going to be good. And the other argument is if he goes to Warzone and plays this, as you can see in this clip, then maybe, like, maybe he's going to take even more fans away, right? People, instead of watching professional Call of Duty multiplayer stuff, are going to watch Scump and co and their personalities play Warzone. That's kind of a big potential, right? Is like, you know, people are going to follow the personalities, whatever they do. And if they start playing Warzone, then maybe that's where the fans follow them to, as opposed to actually watching the league. So definitely an interesting discussion from Crimsix and co. Intrigued to hear your perspective down below. This also from Scump, though, 2020. What if I never retire? So maybe if Scump never retires, and maybe he's got 5 more years left in him, who really knows? Then, you know, it's possible that this situation lasts forever. I thought this was funny as well, just to run through real quick, because the last couple of days, there's been a lot of talk about these, well, let's just say the tier list of players, top 30 players of all time. Donny Temp on stream is trying to do a good one. And he says here, what I really want to put to, he kind of gives his top 10, Crim, Scump, Forbal, Karma, Clay, Slasher, Simp, Arcitys, aBeZy. Pretty hot take on list, to be honest, but he certainly does continue. So this is the one we just looked at actually right here. Then he goes another one, which I thought was kind of funny. Top 5 cruddies, which he hasn't filled out quite yet, but he goes, you know, RPF 3, Cell, Bance, I mean, kind of more than 5 here. Looney, Slacked, Aqua, Shotzi, Nagafen, Zen, and Brezzy. Nagafen actually a very good pick here, I think. Top 5, I guess, is like players who go rogue or something. Rashidi, Kismet, Apathy, aBeZy, CleanX, Vivid, Dylan Con, another good one. Tyler Feller, Awakening, Zuma, and then we've got Classic Ken and Dashy down here in the bottom. I thought this was kind of funny as well. Timberwall, Ego, Charles, Cammy, Dashy, Temp, Simp, aBeZy, Illy, Priestahh, Gunless, and Scump, of course. His face just cracks me up every single time. But this one as well. Bots that chal with no gunny. That being Crimsix and Classic. And yeah, I just thought it was pretty entertaining nonetheless. And Temp's definitely having a good time here on the right-hand side as well. But yes, very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really helps out the YouTube icon, and you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.